The rain came down in sheets, turning the city streets into rivers of reflected neon and despair. Hannah Morrison sat slumped on a bus stop bench, her body aching from exhaustion, and her heart heavy with a defeat, so complete she could barely breathe through it. Her 3-year-old daughter Lily stood in front of her, clutching a worn teddy bear that had seen better days. The little girl's pink dress was damp, despite Hannah's best efforts to shield her with her own jacket, and her brown boots splashed in the puddles forming around their feet. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Lily asked, her small voice cutting through the sound of rain. Hammering against the plexiglass shelter, Hannah wiped at her face, though whether the wetness was tears or rain, she couldn't tell anymore. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Mommy's just tired." But she wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. 3 days ago, she'd been fired from her job at the diner for missing 2. Many shifts she'd missed because Lily had been sick and Hannah couldn't afford childcare. Yesterday, their landlord had changed the locks on their apartment. All their belongings packed into garbage, bags and left on the street because Hannah was 2 months behind on rent. She'd managed to save a few things, stuffing what she could into a single battered suitcase and a backpack. The rest she'd had to leave behind. All of Lily's toys except the teddy bear. Most of their clothes, photos, memories, all of it gone. Hannah's phone had died hours ago, the battery drained and the charging cable left behind in the apartment. She had $17 in her pocket, no job, no home, and nowhere to go. Her parents had passed away years ago, and her only sibling lived across the country and was dealing with his own financial crisis. The shelter was full. She'd called from a payphone earlier, and they'd told her there was a waiting list. 2 weeks minimum before they might have space. 2 weeks of sleeping on the street with a 3-year-old. The thought made Hannah's chest tighten with panic, so intense she thought she might pass out. How had her life come to this? She'd been a good student. Had gone to college for 2 years before money ran out. She'd worked hard, always paid her bills on time when she could. But then she'd gotten pregnant, and Lily's father had disappeared the moment he found out, and everything had slowly, inevitably fallen apart. "Mommy, I'm hungry," Lily said, tugging on Hannah's sleeve. Hannah looked at her daughter's upturned face, at those innocent eyes that still believed Mommy could fix everything, and felt something break inside her. She had $17. She could buy Lily dinner, maybe breakfast tomorrow. And then what? "Don't cry, Mommy," Lily said, reaching up to touch Hannah's face with her small, cold hand. "Maybe that man will help us." Hannah followed her daughter's gaze and saw a man standing about 20 feet away under a large, black umbrella. He was tall, dressed in an expensive-looking, dark suit that was somehow still, pristine despite the downpour. His dark hair was slightly wet from the rain, and he appeared to be in his late 30s or early 40s. He was staring at them with an expression Hannah couldn't quite read. Not disgust or pity, but something more complex. Concern, maybe, or recognition of some kind. "We can't bother strangers, baby," Hannah said quietly, though without much conviction. What did social niceties matter when you were homeless and desperate? But Lily, with the fearless innocence of 3-year-olds everywhere, was already walking toward the man, splashing through puddles with her teddy bear held protectively against her chest. "Lily, wait!" Hannah started to stand, but her legs were unsteady from sitting in the cold rain for so long. The man crouched down as Lily approached, bringing himself to her level. Hannah's maternal instincts kicked in, and she forced herself upright, moving toward them despite her exhaustion. "Hi," Lily said to the man with the simple directness children possess. "My mommy is crying because we don't have a house anymore. Can you help us?" Hannah felt her face burn with shame even as her heart broke at her daughter's words. "Lily, we can't ask." The man looked up at Hannah, and she saw something shift in his expression. His eyes, a striking gray-blue, held an intensity that should have been intimidating but somehow wasn't. "I'm sorry," Hannah said, her voice breaking. "She doesn't understand." "We're fine." "Come on, Lily." "You're not fine," the man said quietly. His voice was deep, calm, the kind of voice that suggested he was used to being listened to. "When's the last time either of you ate?" Hannah opened her mouth to lie, to say they'd just eaten, but no words came out. She was too tired to lie convincingly, and something about this man made her feel like he'd see through it anyway. "This morning?" Lily volunteered. We had crackers from the gas station, but they were yucky crackers, not the good kind with cheese. Lily, Hannah said weakly, but she didn't have the energy to reprimand her daughter for being honest. The man stood slowly, still holding his umbrella, and looked at Hannah with an expression that made her want to simultaneously run away and collapse into his arms. Kindness. That's what she saw in his face. Genuine, unvarnished kindness. "My name is James Thornton," he said, "and I'd like to help you if you'll let me." James Thornton. The name sounded vaguely familiar, but Hannah couldn't place it through the fog of exhaustion and stress. "We don't need charity," Hannah said. The words automatic, even though they were a lie. They desperately needed charity. They needed anything anyone was willing to give. "It's not charity," James said gently. Let's call it human decency. When's the last time you slept? Indoors, I mean." Hannah felt tears threatening again. "Last night. In the bus station. Until security kicked us out." James's jaw tightened and he glanced down at Lily, who was looking up at both adults with wide, worried eyes. "There's a hotel 3 blocks from here. The Grand View. Come with me. Let me get you a room for the night, get you both some hot food. We can figure out next steps in the morning when everyone's had some rest and food." I don't have money to pay you back," Hannah said, hating how small her voice sounded. "I'm not asking you to pay me back," James said firmly. "I'm asking you to let me help. Your daughter is standing in the rain, cold and hungry. Let me at least get her warm and fed, please." The word please broke something in Hannah's resistance. This man, this stranger in an expensive suit who probably lived in a world so far removed from hers. They might as well be on different planets, was asking her permission to help. Not demanding, not pitying, just offering. "Okay," Hannah whispered. "Okay, thank you." James's expression softened with relief. He stepped closer and held his umbrella over both Hannah and Lily. "My car's just over there. Let me drive you to the hotel. It's too far to walk in this weather." The car, when Hannah saw it, confirmed what she'd suspected. James Thornton was not just comfortable but wealthy. The black Mercedes was the kind of vehicle she'd only ever seen in magazines or driving past her on the street. The interior was leather and smelled new, and Hannah felt intensely self-conscious about her wet, dirty clothes as James opened the back door and helped her buckle. Lily into the car seat he quickly adjusted from another position. "You keep a car seat in your car?" Hannah asked, surprised. "My nephew," James explained briefly. "My sister's son. I pick him up from school sometimes." He drove carefully through the rain-slicked streets, and Hannah sat in the back with Lily, holding her daughter's hand and trying to process what was happening. This couldn't be real. People like James Thornton didn't just stop and help homeless women and children, but here he was and here they were. The Grand View was exactly the kind of hotel Hannah had always walked past without considering she'd ever step inside. The lobby was all marble floors and crystal chandeliers, with uniformed staff who smiled professionally as James led Hannah and Lily inside. The clerk at the front desk recognized James immediately. "Mr. Thornton, welcome. How can we help you this evening?" "I need a suite," James said. "Something comfortable with a separate bedroom. And I'll need it for at least a week." "A week?" Hannah interrupted. "No, that's too much. One night is already—" "A week," James repeated firmly, not looking at her. "Also, could you send up some clothes? Children's size for a 3-year-old girl and women's size." He glanced at Hannah questioningly. 8, Hannah said faintly, feeling like she was in a dream. "But I can't accept—" "And dinner," James continued, still addressing the clerk. "A full menu selection. Include some options that are kid-friendly, and hot chocolate for the little one." "Of course, Mr. Thornton," the clerk said, typing rapidly. "I'll have everything sent up immediately." The suite was on the 12th floor, and was more spacious than any apartment Hannah had ever lived in. There was a living area with a plush sofa and television, a separate bedroom with a king-sized bed that looked impossibly comfortable, and a bathroom with a tub so large Lily gasped when she saw it. "Bath!" Lily exclaimed, pointing. "Mommy, look at the big bath!" "Why don't you two get cleaned up?" James suggested gently. "I'll wait out here. The clothes and food should arrive within the hour." Hannah looked at him. This stranger who'd swept into their lives and was changing everything, and felt overwhelmed with emotions she couldn't name. "Why are you doing this?" James was quiet for a moment, his expression distant. Because 4 years ago, I lost someone very important to me. And before she died, she made me promise something. She said that if I ever saw someone who needed help, really needed it, I should give it without hesitation. No questions, no conditions, just help. He focused back on Hannah. You needed help. Your daughter needed help, so I'm helping. Who was she? Hannah asked quietly. My wife, James said, and the pain in his voice was old but still sharp. Sarah. She was a social worker. Spent her whole life trying to make the world better for people who'd been dealt bad hands. She died of cancer 4 years ago, and I've been trying to honor her memory ever since, trying to be the kind of person she believed I could be. Hannah felt tears spill down her cheeks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for yours too, James said gently. I can see it in your eyes. You've lost a lot recently. Hannah nodded, not trusting herself to speak. Go, James said kindly. Get warm. Take care of your daughter. We'll talk more after you've both eaten and rested. The bath was heaven. Hannah washed Lily first, carefully scrubbing away days of accumulated grime and stress, washing her daughter's hair with the hotel's expensive shampoo that smelled like lavender. Lily giggled and played with the bubbles, her earlier stress forgotten in the simple joy of being clean and warm. Then Hannah took her own shower, standing under water so hot it almost burned, letting it wash away not just the dirt but some of the despair. She couldn't remember the last time she'd felt truly clean. The clothes arrived while they were in the bathroom, along with an array of food that made Hannah's mouth water. Roasted chicken, pasta, vegetables, fresh fruit, and for Lily, chicken nuggets and French fries that made the little girl squeal with delight. James had ordered food for himself too, Hannah noticed, and he sat with them at the suite's dining table while they ate. He was gentle with Lily, asking her about her favorite colors and animals, making her laugh with funny faces. With Hannah, he was respectful and careful, not pushing her to talk, but creating space for her to share if she wanted. I was working at the Riverside Diner, Hannah found herself saying as they ate. It wasn't much, but it was steady. But Lily got sick a few months ago, just a bad flu. But it lasted weeks, and I had to miss work to take care of her. I couldn't afford childcare and work at the same time. The tips were barely enough to cover rent and food. And then my boss said he couldn't keep someone so unreliable and he fired me. She swallowed hard, pushing food around her plate. I tried to find another job, but without childcare, it's impossible. And without a job, I couldn't pay rent. My landlord was patient for a while, but then he said he had other tenants who could pay, and he locked me out. Took everything we had except what I could carry. What about family? James asked gently. My parents died in a car accident when I was 19, Hannah said. I have a brother in Oregon, but he's got his own problems. Lost his job too, drowning in debt. And Lily's father? She trailed off, not wanting to say the words in front of her daughter. He's not in the picture, James finished for her. No, he made that clear from the start. James was quiet for a moment, his expression thoughtful. What did you study? In school? Nursing, Hannah said. I was in a 2-year program, about halfway through when I got pregnant. I had to drop out because I couldn't afford tuition and rent and everything else a baby needs. I always planned to go back, but life kept getting in the way. You wanted to be a nurse, James said, and it wasn't a question. I wanted to help people, Hannah said softly. I wanted to make a difference. Funny how things turn out? It's not too late, James said. To help people, to make a difference, to finish what you started. Hannah looked at him with tired eyes. I appreciate everything you've done, Mr. Thornton. Really, but I'm living in a hotel room with $17 to my name and no job. Nursing school isn't exactly in the cards right now. What if it could be? James asked. Hannah frowned. What do you mean? I mean, what if I told you I could help make that possible? James leaned forward slightly. I own several businesses in this city, including a medical equipment company that partners with nursing programs. I could help you get back into school, help you find stable housing, help you get childcare sorted out, let you finish what you started. Hannah stared at him, not quite believing what she was hearing. Why would you do that? You don't know me. I could be anyone. You're a mother who's trying her best in impossible circumstances, James said simply. You're someone who had a dream of helping people and had to set it aside to survive. And you're someone who needs help right now. That's enough for me. I can't just take your money. Then don't think of it as taking, James interrupted gently. Think of it as accepting help so you can eventually help others. You want to be a nurse, right? You want to take care of people who are sick or hurt? That's valuable. That matters. I'm just accelerating the timeline a bit. Hannah felt something she hadn't felt in months, maybe years. Hope, small and fragile, but real. I don't know what to say. Say yes, James said. Say you'll let me help. Not just for tonight, but for long enough to get you back on your feet properly. Let me honor Sarah's memory by doing what she would have done. Let me help you build a better life for yourself and your daughter. Hannah looked at Lily, who'd fallen asleep in her chair, her head resting on her arms, a French fry still clutched in one small hand. Her daughter. Her beautiful, innocent daughter who deserved so much better than sleeping in bus stations and eating stale crackers for breakfast. Okay, Hannah whispered. Yes, I'll accept your help. Thank you. The week in the hotel turned into 2 weeks while James helped Hannah get back on her feet. He was true to his word about everything. He connected her with his sister, who ran a nonprofit organization that helped single mothers find affordable housing and child care. Within a week, Hannah had a small but clean apartment in a safe neighborhood, with a subsidized childcare placement for Lily at a center 3 blocks away. James also connected Hannah with the nursing school he'd mentioned, using his company's partnership to get her application, fast-tracked and securing a scholarship that would cover tuition and books. Hannah would start classes in 6 weeks, giving her time to settle into the new apartment and get Lily adjusted to her new routine. But James did more than just provide resources. He showed up. He helped Hannah move into her apartment, carrying boxes and assembling furniture. He brought Lily a new teddy bear when he learned her old one had been ruined by the rain. He checked in regularly, making sure Hannah had everything she needed, that she wasn't struggling in silence. You don't have to keep doing this, Hannah told him one afternoon when he'd stopped by to drop off groceries he'd insisted on buying. You've already done more than anyone had any right to expect. You've changed our lives. You don't owe us anything more. James set the bags on the kitchen counter and looked at her seriously. I'm not doing this out of obligation, Hannah. I'm doing it because I want to. Because helping you and Lily has given me something I didn't realize I was missing. What's that? Hannah asked quietly. Purpose, James said. After Sarah died, I threw myself into work. Built my companies bigger, made more money, filled every hour with meetings and deals and acquisitions. And I was miserable. Successful but empty. The day I met you and Lily in the rain, I was coming from another pointless business dinner, feeling sorry for myself, wondering what the point of any of it was. And then I saw you two, and Lily pointed at me, and for the first time in 4 years, I felt like I had a reason to be where I was at that exact moment. He smiled slightly. You didn't just accept my help, Hannah. You gave me something too, a reminder that life has meaning when we connect with people, when we help each other, when we're present for the moments that matter. Hannah felt her heart do something complicated in her chest. Over the past 2 weeks, she'd come to know James better. She'd learned about his businesses, yes, but also about his love of bad action movies, his terrible cooking skills, his close relationship with his sister and nephew. She'd learned that he was funny and kind, and surprisingly humble for someone with his wealth, and she'd started to feel something she hadn't felt since before Lily was born. Attraction, interest, the tentative stirring of feelings that went beyond gratitude. James, she said carefully, I don't want you to think I'm taking advantage, or that I'm interested in you because of what you've done for us. I don't think that, James assured her. But I am interested, Hannah continued, forcing herself to be brave. In you, as more than just someone who helped us. And I don't know if that's appropriate, or if you feel the same way, or if this is just me being grateful and confused. James crossed the small kitchen and took her hands in his. It's not inappropriate, and you're not confused. And yes, I feel the same way. I have for a while now. Really? Hannah asked, her voice small. Really, James confirmed. But I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want you to feel pressured, or like my help came with expectations. That's not what this is. I helped you because it was the right thing to do, not because I expected anything in return. I know that, Hannah said. That's part of why I'm interested. You're genuine. James, In a world full of people who want something, you just gave why.